Welcome to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I am Mayor Christy Clark, and I am joined today with our town manager and fellow troublemaker with me, Anthony Roberts. So welcome, Anthony. You haven't
Happy
been
to
here.
be here.
You haven't been here for a while. Neither.
Yeah,
I think,
I couldn't get the views like Edwin. So,
yeah, that's right.
They don't invite me back. So,
Commissioner Quarles challenged us to outdo his 400 views. So if you're watching this show today, please share it so we can get a little bit more views than Commissioner Quarles. You know, a good little fun competition is always good. Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody that today at 3 o'clock at the Waymer Center, the Town of Huntersville is having our second annual Martin Luther King Day celebration. The first one was last year. It was phenomenal. We had over 250 folks in attendance. And it was just a really special event that was really inspiring for everyone who attended. And I think it will prove to be exactly the same this year with quotes from Martin Luther King, performances by local bands, the North County Youth Orchestra, and some dancing from local dance groups, drum circles, all kinds of wonderful things like that to get us inspired and motivated. And Martin Luther King Day is always a day of service. So if you're out there volunteering, thank you for giving your time to our community. We really appreciate it. I brought Anthony Roberts in today because we have something super exciting happening on this Friday, January 23rd. Our new town hall is having their ribbon cutting, and it'll be an opportunity for the community to come in and join us for that. Anthony, tell us how we got to here with this new town hall. It's been a long road.
I don't know if we have all day, but when I was hired in 2018, June 2018, obviously one of the things to notice was the town hall. We have a small town hall, about 8,500 square feet, where a portion of the employees are, and those are more admin, legal admin, finance, HR staff. And then above DPK, Discovery Place Kids, Town Center building, we have pretty much planning, engineering, IT, and various departments over there. Both of those buildings were jam-packed when I got there. So we started planning on the next move, which was basically to try to consolidate those employees all in one building and looking at land. We had some land in front of Discovery Place Kids, kind of looked at that for a little bit. Obviously, as you know, with elections change every 2 years in Huntersville. And so there was some moving and shifting, but ultimately we ended up landing in the spot behind. Without getting into too much detail, because we don't have that much time, we ended up landing in the spot where we're at now behind the existing town hall. 4-story building, roughly 50,000 square feet. All the departments that I mentioned before will be in that building. Obviously, your maintenance folks will be down at Public Works Yard, et cetera, but we'll have roughly 80 employees in that building and also plenty of meeting space, room to expand. Obviously, you don't want to build a building and be in the same boat we're in. Every 10, 15 years have to expand. So the goal here was a long-term build that will keep us in that spot for hopefully 50 years or more.
Yeah, when we approved the building of the new town hall, there was a little pushback, just like there was on sometimes. And a lot of people said, oh, we don't need a new town hall. We have plenty of room. And the old town hall is what we're calling it now, is about 8,000 square feet. No room for commissioners to meet, no room. I did not, as a mayor, did not have an office. I just had to use the conference room on board meeting days. And so now, with this big expansion, there'll be a place for everyone to meet and gather, which I think will be really special for folks to have a place to actually be in town hall and meet with the commissioners and meet with me. I have an office now, which is really exciting. When was the last time you think the mayor had an office in the town of Huntersville? Did they ever?
Maybe never.
Maybe never.
Well, I can tell you, not in 8 years, going on 8 years that I've been there.
Yeah, I don't ever remember before your time. When I was meeting with the mayor, I don't ever remember a mayor having an office space there. So it doesn't seem like a big deal from the outside, but it is when you want to have a conversation with a constituent and they want to have a private conversation. It's nice to just have a place where we can go and close the door and, have that conversation and also have a place for me to meet with staff. And I think staff is nice to have. I think staff is excited for me to have a place to be there, and so that I can be there. Because all the times that I've had time to go sit in there, it's been a revolving door of staff wanting to talk to me about different things. And I think that makes the flow of business in the town a lot better, is when you have easy access to the commissioners and the mayor as well.
Yeah, and I think, probably the biggest thing, obviously, besides getting, when you're doing business with the public, having people in one building is important instead of running around two different locations trying to achieve your business. And then also the board meeting room in the existing old town hall. I got to get used to that old town hall. Maximum would be probably 60 you could sit in. That's jamming them in there. So the new building, you can get 200 in there. Probably super comfortable would be 150, 160. So almost triple the capacity from a standpoint when you have huge meetings. If you have some maybe regional meetings and stuff, it would be important. That's one thing Huntersville hadn't been able to do when you had regional meetings. They just couldn't do it in Huntersville. Then also, community space meetings and stuff like that. So I think it's important that we'll be able to grow for quite a bit of time and be able to provide. We're the largest town in North Mecklenburg, obviously, second largest in the county. So it just makes sense for us to be able to hold those meetings and not have to go somewhere else. So.
Yeah, and I will say we upgraded the quality of the chair for the residents to sit in. And so it is a lot more comfortable to sit in a town boarding now than it was before. When I would come to board meetings before, I would, those chairs were pretty hard and old. And so we've got some nice ones that are comfortable to sit in. And if you're going to be there for a long meeting or like a quasi judicial hearing, you can be comfortable and in your seat and stay for the whole meeting and not feel uncomfortable.
We'll bring out the old chairs, the bad chairs for the bad people. I'm kidding. The good chairs for the good people. Just kidding.
Yeah, all the good chairs, all the good chairs. Well, the ribbon cutting is this Friday at 11 a.m. We're super excited about that. This has been, I think, a fairly quick project, from the day we broke ground. It was about 18 months or a little longer. Yeah, 18 months, which seems crazy because it was, there's weather events, there was a hurricane in there was all kinds of other things happened, and somehow it managed to come nearly on schedule.
Yeah, and also I've never heard, typically on a government project, you don't hear folks saying, wow, that's taking, that's fast, that's getting done quick. Usually it's, what's taking so long? And for this one, I can honestly say every person I ever talked to, wow, the town hall's moving fast. So I wish we could do that on every project, but this project has worked well.
Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, most of the time, government projects are slow. It takes a long time. One of the ones that is near and dear to my heart that's slow is the Cashins property. We'll take a quick break here in just a second, and we'll get an update on that and where it is. But we hope to do something special with that property. But it is one of those ones that has to go through all the government hoops, and the government is slow, and it because we have to do things right, and we have to be fiscally responsible and have a fiduciary responsibility to our residents. So we want to make sure we're doing all the right things for that. So we'll give you an update on Cashins when we come back from this break. Just hang right here with us and hear a message from our sponsors. We'll be back to talk about all the good things happening in Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, our sunshine's back, but it's a cold start to the new week, and winter looks like it's going to hang around for a while. Plenty of sunshine, but mid-40s for our Monday afternoon. We'll get cold again overnight. Temperatures fall into the low 20s again. Mid-40s for Tuesday. Eyeing possibly another system that could be wintry by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Here's your WSIC community calendar.
We've got performances, exhibitions, and live music you won't want to miss, all close to home.
First up, head to the Armour Street Theater in downtown Davidson for a timeless theatrical experience. The Davidson Community Players present Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, a powerful story of jealousy, forgiveness, and redemption brought to life on stage. Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale runs January 22nd through February 8th. Find specific showtimes, ticket info, and more at davidsoncommunityplayers.org under the Shows tab. That's davidsoncommunityplayers.org and take in Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, starting January 22nd.
If live music is more your style, plan a trip to the Twisted Oak in Statesville on Saturday, January 24th for Rocky Lynn Live. Rocky's blend of country, rock, and heartland energy makes for a night of great tunes and good vibes. The show kicks off at 7:30, and all the details you need are up at downtownstatesville.com. You won't want to miss Rocky's first hometown show of 2026, Saturday, January 24th. Rocky Lynn Live at the Twisted Oak in Statesville.
And finally, for our art lovers, Mooresville Arts at the Depot invites you to the 13th annual Winter Juried Exhibition, running January 20th through February 26th at the historic train depot in downtown Mooresville. See incredible work from local and regional artists judged by Marissa Pascucci, gallery and collection coordinator from Davidson College. Don't miss the artist reception on Friday, January 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m. To learn more about this exhibition and other arts offerings, head to mooresvillearts.org.
For more Lake Norman news, events, job opportunities, and real estate information, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
All right, we're back with more on the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I'm Mayor Christy Clark, and I'm here with Town Manager Anthony Roberts. We were just about to talk about what we call the Cashins property, which is the corner of Gilead Road and Old Statesville there. We tore it down last year, tore the building down. We really had hoped to save it, but after following inspection, it just wasn't something we could save for safety reasons. And so now we went ahead and planted some grass on it and put a fence around it so residents wouldn't use it as a cut through for the road there for safety purposes again. And so now we've got a little sidewalk in there and some art. Anthony, give us an update on what's happening with that property.
Mayor, you're right. We, sort of connected the sidewalks, put up a fence so, the person cut the corner and drive through the fence. And you're right, put up a bench with also art related to the bench. Just as a short-term sort of fix, keep it cleaned up. With Cashins, as you said, Mayor, we had to tear it down. It was a gas station. Everybody knows Cashin family. Who's done a lot of good work in North Mecklenburg, good family. I know the family very well. But it's a gas station. Obviously, with gas stations, you have pumps, and sometimes there's leakage. You may drive off with the gas hose in your car, and it spills on the ground. All sorts of things. Old tanks, new tanks. So there was some cleanup after we purchased the property. Some of the dirt had to be dug up. We dug up the dirt. Sometimes there's leakage where you have some leakage in the groundwater, and so you do some testing for that. And so we've cleaned up all the dirt. Obviously planted grass. The last phase, which we're working on now, we have some, I'm going to say, probably not the right terminology, so you environmentalists out there don't beat me up too bad. We put some, I'm going to call plumes in the ground to continue to monitor the groundwater. The latest and greatest on that is there's some, and this is a harsh word, but I'll go into a little more detail. There's some groundwater contamination still. But it's okay. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But with that groundwater, we have to continue to test it and monitor it. The ultimate goal is to close that site. When I say close the site, close it off so that there's no more contamination. But just to let everybody know, it's very safe. You can go roll in the grass. You can eat the dirt if you want to. Drop your sandwich in there. You can literally go drop cigarettes by the plumes. So if you're a smoker, hopefully not, but if you decide to drop cigarettes, nothing's going to happen. So it's all safe. We could literally go build on it now. And we will be talking about that at the upcoming workshop retreat at the end of January about taking the next step. So we can do that now. The only thing we would not want to do I'm gonna say it would be the northeast corner of the property, you'll see, I think, a couple little concrete circles. That's where those, what I'm gonna call little plumes or tubes in the ground that we can do sort of testing. As long as we don't cover those up so we can continue to monitor and test, we can go build on the property and do basically whatever we want. And we'll talk more about that in January. And hopefully the board will move us forward. That's been the holdup, you having that, make sure we had all the environmental issues taken care of.
Yeah, we've had a great partner in the NCDEQ helping us move forward and helping us find grants to help us remediate that site. And we want to make sure we do all the things right so that when we finally do have what we want to put there, we want to make sure that it's the best it can be. And but we would love to hear from the residents of Town of Huntersville if you have ideas or inspiration about what you might want to see on that corner. It's a blank slate, and I love a blank slate, and I always encourage people to dream big. So if you have something that you want there, we know we don't want it to be an office. We know we don't want it to be apartments. We want it to be something that the community can use and have access to and have fun there. And so it should be a place with fun in mind, not a place with business necessarily in mind or with a structure in mind. So we look forward to doing that. Anthony mentioned our board retreat, which is the week after next. That's a time for the board to go away for a couple days and just talk about all things budget relating to every aspect of the town, from starting with, communications down to police and fire and planning and engineering and public works and everything you in between you can think of. Every project will be up for discussion. And so if you want to tune into that, you can do that on our YouTube channel and watch us as we discuss. Or if you need a nap, it might be a little snoozy at times when you're going through every road project. But it's good to know what's out there and what's happening with the road projects. And if you can't tune in, feel free to call up a commissioner or me, and we can meet with you and talk about what's on our agenda that week. It's exciting.
And at that, Mayor, you sort of hit it. And if you can join us, I'm sure we'll have slideshows. I don't know how many, it'll be hundreds of slides. So ultimately that will be put online so folks can go back and look at that. And as you said, Mayor, most of the road projects are multi-year projects. So you're probably like, well, I saw that last year and the year before and the year before. Some of these projects are 10-year projects. Some are 1 year, some are 10 years. So we'll talk a lot about that. But it's a chance for every department head to sort of get up in front of the board to tell you what is going on, kind of FY26 sort of update on projects, and then in FY27, which would be the next fiscal year that starts July 1 of 2026, of what they sort of anticipate coming down the pipe, and then get feedback from the board. We'll talk a little bit about where are we, how are we doing with the FY26 goals, which is in FY26 now, and then really get you thinking about, okay, what do we want to do about FY27 goals? How do we tweak these, modify, et cetera? So every department head talking about a lot of things going on within their departments. Then also, you just mentioned one like Cashin's property. What are we going to do with that? So we'll have other discussion topics like that. Also, the strip of land in front of Discovery Place Kids Town Center, that strip there. Same sort of process, Mayor, as you talked about, that government takes some time. There were some issues with that land too, and that we can talk about that in a little bit too. So things like attainable housing, potential parking deck for town hall, maybe composting projects, sustainable projects, et cetera. So just a whole laundry list of things, and really focus on sort of a 5-year CIP, which is a capital improvements plan, and how we fund those projects.
And I can go ahead and give a spoiler for our board retreat, as we will be keeping our tax rate the same as it was last year and the year before. So that is, I think, good news for the town of Huntersville. That shows that we're growing smartly and growing wisely, and we're able to keep our tax rate the same for now. I think it's a really good thing. And so that, I think residents will be appreciative of that, as considering the state of the economy and all things like that. Anthony, you have been a town manager for a long time, and
oh, Mayor, feel old now.
And you're really good at it. You're one of the best in the state, and people widely recognize that. And so we appreciate you a whole lot. But can you? We just went to municipal government training with some board members, and our 2 newest board members, Scott Cornett and Heather Smallwood, and they talked about manager council and council mayor, different types of government. We are a manager council government. And so that means that, that me as the mayor, I'm not the one I'm not the one driving the ship. You're the driving the ship, and I'm there as more of an advisor. Can you talk about how that works?
Well, maybe I relate to business. Of course, government business, folks say there are some differences, and I won't get into the weeds of all that, but, it's from a business standpoint and a government standpoint. Ultimately, I'll try to relate the two, but the mayor and board sets the goals. Where do we want to go? What's the vision for the town? And then the manager basically carries that out, helps the board carry that out on a daily basis. And ultimately, obviously, we have staff. The staff reports the way it's set up in North Carolina, and many states are like this. Ultimately, I help carry out the day-to-day duties of the town. The staff reports to me. I hire and fire most staff members. There's a couple in most towns that the mayor and board hire, and that is typically the attorney, the town manager, and town clerk. Sometimes they vary a little bit with town clerk, but for the most part, those three positions are hired and fired by the mayor and board, and then the rest of the employees are hired and fired by the manager. But it's very simple. Mayor and board set the goals, manager go carry them out and make it happen.
Yeah, and so a lot of times I get emails that say to me, Mayor, make the board do this or demand the board do that. And that's not something that we can really do. We're all duly elected officials. We have the same status on the dais, and so like I can't make any board member do anything. They are supposed to vote their conscience and their constituents and whatever factors they want to take into, and then off to the side, we're like the board of the directors, and Anthony is the CEO, and he's making sure the company is running. And so that's a kind of a different way of thinking about it. It's not like on TV. It's not like what you see in movies. It's a lot different in real life. It's very structured and very outlined on what roles we have. And I'm excited to have another 2 years to kind of do great things for the town of Huntersville. One thing that happened, Anthony, that we weren't sure what was going to happen with was the red line, the sales tax dollars. How's that going to change the face of Huntersville, the face of our budget, all those good things?
Maybe we'll save this for after the break, Mayor, but we'll talk a little bit about how much sales tax will impact Huntersville and what we can do with that, et cetera, and why the importance of that, et cetera. So I'll just save that.
Yeah, we'll hold on that until we come back from the break, because the red line and the sales tax is going to have some impact on the town of Huntersville, and we're going to work hard to make sure that it happens in the right way and that we use those sales tax dollars to do good things for Huntersville. So we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. So here is a word from our sponsors, and don't go away. Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. We'll be right back.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, our sun shines back, but it's a cold start to the new week, and winter looks like it's going to hang around for a while. Plenty of sunshine, but mid-40s for our Monday afternoon. We'll get cold again overnight. Temperatures fall into the low 20s again. Mid-40s for Tuesday. Eyeing possibly another system that could be wintry by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Harrison's knows the work doesn't stop just because the temperatures drop. Load up on the warmest workwear and toughest work boots from Ariat, Carhartt, Brunt, and more. Harrison's will keep you working warm all winter long. Come see us in Mooresville or harrisonsusa.com.
Jay White here from Central Liner Realty. At Central Liner Realty, we believe it's all about you. If you're selling a home, buying a home, or adding doors to your rental portfolio, put the team at Central Liner Realty to work for you. Go to centrallinerrealty.com and let's get started.
Your marriage feels stuck, communication is strained, trust is fragile, and counseling hasn't gone deep enough. The Kohler Group offers 5-day marriage intensives, focused, faith-based, and guided by licensed therapists. No distractions, no surface-level work, just intentional care rooted in biblical truth. These intensives are self-pay and designed for real transformation. Restore what matters most. Call or text 252-758-8636 today. With God, all things are possible.
Don't just love the lake, live it. Shop LKN Local, where you'll find unique apparel, home decor, and gifts with a lake vibe you'll just adore. Made by locals for locals, they'll even hand deliver to select zip codes. Shop LKN-local.com today.
Need a ride? iCats has you covered. Tuesdays to the VA in Salisbury, Thursday to Winston-Salem, and Fridays to Hickory. Plus, run errands every day around Iredell County for just $1. Visit rideicats.com.
Welcome to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell from Temple Baptist Church in Statesville.
The Bible says in 1 John chapter 2, verse number 15, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Folks, when God talks about loving the world is not just the breaking of the 10 Commandments. The world is a system, and the worldly system is orchestrated by Satan. It feeds off of our fleshly, sinful nature, and it's everything about us that wants to influence us and affect our life toward things that dishonor God. The next verse talks about the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. These are all the things, the categories of the love of the world. But obviously, a relationship with God is a love relationship. We have to make a choice. You can love the world or you can love God, but you can't do both.
Thanks for listening to a Bible Minute with Pastor Randy Mitchell here on WSIC.
Spotless cleaning. How can we make your day spotless? Yes, we make not just toilets spotless, but also counters, cabinets, and kitchens. We make your whole house, your whole day spotless. My grandparents taught me the details, not the things, make your home and your life luxurious. Yes, they raised me in Brazil. And that's why we will never charge you extra for baseboards. Let me help you be a diva a few hours a week. SpotlessCleaningNC.com.
Friendly reminder, don't break when you see the lake.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Read any good books lately?
300,000 people have read my manga.
Here are my top 7 favorite fantasy books.
The public library is one of my favorite places.
Plenty of people are if you just scroll through the Book Talk hashtag on TikTok. But to hear booksellers tell it, this isn't just a social media phenomenon.
Generally, the book market has rebounded.
James Daunt is CEO of Barnes & Noble. He's led the bookstore giant since Elliott Investment Management took it private in 2019. Then the pandemic hit.
COVID was a difficult time for us. Obviously, a lot of our stores were closed, but people rediscovered reading.
And while competition from Amazon that's been around for years hasn't gone away, Daunt says Barnes & Noble is growing to more than 700 locations now, and he says indie stores are doing well too, with a focus on the consumer.
Because book selling is a trade, it's a vocational trade, and the skills that are attached to that, have to be learnt and developed. So we haven't completed that journey, I would say. But in most of our stores, are a lot better than they ever were.
Nathan Hager, Bloomberg Radio.
Don't miss a thing. Download the WSIC News app today. WSIC. Local starts here. All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Thank you. Welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. I'm Mayor Christy Clark here with Town Manager Anthony Roberts. We were just getting started and talking about the red line tax dollars and what that's going to mean for the Town of Huntersville, especially as we are getting ready to plan our budget for the next fiscal year. And those tax dollars will come to us in, January of 2027?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Talked about maybe October, but I'm guessing because you're working with the Department of Revenue, state levels, probably more like January 27.
Yeah, and so what's our estimate on how many dollars we're going to be getting in that time
I'd say
period?
conservative estimate is $12.5 million annually.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, looking at that on how we can do debt service and spread that out because projects just have, like anything, has gone up astronomical.
Yep. The statute limits what we can use those tax dollars on. What are some things that we're looking forward to using them on?
Yeah, I mean, roads, sidewalks, anything related, what I would say, probably the simplest way to put it, anything related to road infrastructure, and it does get into details. Greenways is not an option. If it's a multi-purpose path that sort of follows the road, that is a different story because that is tied into the road infrastructure. And then there are some other things like parking decks, et cetera, parking that it can be used for. And I think, Mayor, we have probably 80 capital improvement projects ongoing that you hear about at the budget workshop. And I think with those funds, the board will give direction on some quick hits. What can we do quickly to see progress? How we spending those tax dollars? Roads, sidewalks, some turning lanes, sidewalks, things like that are quicker hits. Large projects like a Gilead Road West that we're working on now, takes years. So we will look to strategically get direction from the board on how to best use those dollars so you see impacts right away.
Yeah, and can we use those tax dollars for crosswalks and street lights and things like that that maybe might help improve some bottlenecks in the area?
Absolutely. That is on the list as far as you'll see that too, that we would recommend to the board. Let's do some of those things that we can make some good improvements very quickly. And even paving, I think Public Works Director Kevin Fox will probably give the normal speech of if we keep going on the pace we're going, we'll get around to pave your road we'll just say 35 to 40 years. So we may look at, I would assume one of the things that come up is how can we speed that up so that roads are kept in fairly good condition, on a shorter time period. We're coming back around the neighborhood to pave. So that's probably one of them that is high on the list also.
Yeah, as we're looking at the different roads that need paving, hopefully we can do more faster and keep the roads in good condition. I know everyone will appreciate that. I don't get too many complaints about potholes in Town of Huntersville because our public works does such a good job, but I think that'll help in the long run for sure.
And it may help, some of the, a lot of times we partner on the DOT projects, so, we'll continue to do that. And, some of these projects are $50 million, $100 million projects. These are not small projects. So $12 million, $12.5 million is a lot of money, but we pay cash for some. We may do some debt service on others. We'll have to look at that CIP and kind of see how we spend that. But I did want to comment on one other thing. Some folks may wonder, talk a little bit about red line, when it may be coming, and I'm sure, everybody, the train's not coming tomorrow. Best we know now, and there's a new organization set up to sort of manage that. It used to be the mayor, you and I on the MTC, which is now going to the MPTA, all these acronyms, that has various appointments from the towns, from the governor, so there's, I think, 27 members. Don't ask me to sort of give you the rundown of who's on it because there's all that's on the website, et cetera. But that new organization will be tasked on carrying out the regional transportation plan. And you may say, well, Anthony, what was so advantageous or maybe why folks voted for it? I think, to me, it's my opinion that, yes, the red line will come. It may be 7 to 8 years, but, transportation is key. The reason this, you hear a lot of folks talk about, the reason this passed was the transportation dollar. People want, roads to get built. They want roads to get improved. And so for that was a key component of the bill. Raleigh is pretty Republican. And I think one of the things that came out of that is it has to be transportation. When I say transportation, road heavy. And that's how it had a chance to go before the public and get passed. And to me, train, whatever that looks like at the end of the day, whether it's a bullet or whether it's a underground or Amtrak, I'm just making up stuff here. But
starting rumors, Anthony.
That's right. Start rumors. That's the way you get it done. Just all sorts of crazy rumors. But really the key is those road dollars will do a lot. And I think that's important. To me, that's probably more important right now than the red line.
Yeah, and that is I think the number one thing constituents and residents talk to us about is the traffic And so having these extra dollars for road projects will help us get things done. It's super exciting. The red line is going to come on the old Norfolk Southern track, which I think is called the O line originally. We've renamed it the red line. Red is just a color. It has nothing to do with where it's going or why it's going or anything like that. I think it's just the color they chose. In fact, I heard tell they may even call a different color in the future. That may happen. But the stations, one of the stations is going to be right in downtown Huntersville. Whereabouts is that going to end up being?
It's fairly close to what I would say the Huntersville Concord Road intersection and Church Street, so a little bit north of that, towards Anchor Mill, in between, if folks know where Anchor Mill is, the old mill, pretty much in that area there, close to, if you walked across the Legion building and walked across the railroad tracks, right in that area. So,
And so there's already land set aside there that's been there for many, many years. I've had a lot of people say, well, we've been sold this bill of goods for this commuter line for North Meg before, and it's not going to come this time around. But this time is a little bit different because the legislation actually statutorily requires this project to be developed. It cannot be put aside or supplanted or voted down by any member of any commission. The General Assembly did us a favor there and as requiring it to actually be done. And I'm going to give a big thanks to that bipartisan effort in the General Assembly. They know DOT is a long way off from getting projects done and having money, and so they saw this as a way to help out Mecklenburg County and help us get people moving around. And it's a big deal, and so we're excited about it.
yes, Mayor, that is the biggest difference. That there was language put in the legislation that specifically spells out the red line that that has to advance forward. So that is key. What that looks like, so many years from now, like I say, I'm not sure what. It's like a telephone. It advances so much every year. I'm sure technology will advance in the next 7 or 8 years, but it is slated to go on the existing line that the city of Charlotte owns now, that they purchased a few years back.
Yeah, and that's super exciting. They're getting to work. The city of Charlotte just funded the MPTA, so they have lots of resources to do the work they need to do, which is very exciting. And hopefully they can continue on. And one day it will take place at the MTC, and Anthony Roberts and I will have one less meeting on our schedule. And I think we're both looking forward to that.
I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 to replace it.
Yes,
So.
yes. There will be something will take its place for sure, which will also be exciting. But I was just looking here at our 2025 highlights, and one of the things we did some things around public safety and sworn officer pay. And when we come back, I want to talk about that and the importance of that and what that means for the town of Huntersville. So we're going to head into our last break for the day. Don't go anywhere. Stay here with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville. We'll be talking to you more when we come back. Here's a message from our sponsors.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, our sunshine's back, but it's a cold start to the new week, and winter looks like it's going to hang around for a while. Plenty of sunshine, but mid-40s for our Monday afternoon. We'll get cold again overnight. Temperatures fall into the low 20s again. Mid-40s for Tuesday. Eyeing possibly another system that could be wintry by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar.
We've got performances, exhibitions, and live music you won't want to miss, all close to home.
First up, head to the Armour Street Theater in downtown Davidson for a timeless theatrical experience. The Davidson Community Players present Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, a powerful story of jealousy, forgiveness, and redemption brought to life on stage. Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale runs January 22nd through February 8th. Find specific showtimes, ticket info, and more at davidsoncommunityplayers.org under the Shows tab. That's davidsoncommunityplayers.org and take in Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale starting January 22nd.
If live music is more your style, plan a trip to the Twisted Oak in Statesville on Saturday, January 24th for Rocky Lynn Live. Rocky's blend of country, rock, and heartland energy makes for a night of great tunes and good vibes. The show kicks off at 7:30, and all the details you need are up at downtownstatesville.com. You won't want to miss Rocky's first hometown show of 2026, Saturday, January 24th. Rocky Lynn Live at the Twisted Oak in Statesville.
And finally, for our art lovers, Mooresville Arts at the Depot invites you to the 13th annual Winter Juried Exhibition, running January 20th through February 26th at the historic train depot in downtown Mooresville. See incredible work from local and regional artists judged by Marissa Pascucci, gallery and collection coordinator from Davidson College. Don't miss the artist reception on Friday, January 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m. To learn more about this exhibition and other arts offerings, head to mooresvillearts.org.
For more Lake Norman news, events, job opportunities, and real estate information, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Your marriage feels stuck. Communication is strained, trust is fragile, and counseling hasn't gone deep enough. The Kohler Group offers 5-day marriage intensives, focused, faith-based, and guided by licensed therapists. No distractions, no surface-level work, just intentional care rooted in biblical truth. These intensives are self-pay and designed for real transformation. Restore what matters most. Call or text 252-758-8636 today. With God, all things are possible.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live with the Town of Huntersville. We left off with talking about the decision the board made to increase our sworn officer pay to the highest in the county. And I will say I had a few mayors say to me afterwards, "Shucks, Mayor, now you put us in a hot spot." But I think it was important for us to do because we really value our officers and we want to make sure they know that. And so we moved ahead with that sworn officer pay. And what's that going to do for us, Anthony?
Hopefully fill the doors up. You know, one of the things, I mean, obviously, the mayor and board decided that was one of the top goals is public safety, obviously, and to increase pay to make sure that we're taking care of our existing officers and also to bring more in. The problem today, there's a lot of folks that don't want to be police officers, and when we have these classes of BLAT, basic law enforcement training classes that come out of CPC and various community colleges, the pool of applicants is nowhere near what it used to be years ago. So we're all competing for that same pool. So we have to be very creative in what we offer, and then also salaries is just has to be up there if you want to get the cream of the crop that comes out of that, especially when everybody's competing for that same pool. So the board saw fit to do that. And, one of the things we're doing now is we move some people around to kind of help with recruiting to really focus on two, what I'd say, employees. And one of those who do an amazing job, I'll just say Kowser. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But he does an amazing job, but try to get him some help and help him focus on getting those folks in the door. So A+ for, Mayor, you and the board for doing that. I imagine as we go to the budget workshop, there'll be other towns looking to shift and change. It's just a competition.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's what it is. And but I have a feeling this you and the board will continue to push that and make sure that we stay up near the top, near Charlotte, so that we can be competitive to continue to get those officers and take care of the ones that we have.
Yep, I imagine so. I know from, I see the mayors of the other towns regularly, and so I imagine when they start talking about budgets, they're going to be lifting up their officer pay. And so if you have the training and the education to be a police officer, we have positions we are looking to fill. So turn in your applications.
They want to be here in Huntersville. I mean, that's just it.
Yep. You can, all the things we've talked about today, jobs, road projects, construction of the new town halls, even on there. You can go to huntersville.org, which is our website. Click on planning. All the projects are on there, the roads and anything, any developments that are going around. One of the things I get asked a lot when I'm out and about in the world is what's happening on the corner of, Stumptown and Statesville. And the best way to do that is to not rely on my memory, but to go onto our huntersville.org page, and you can actually click on the projects and get all the information there and see when it was approved, if it was board approval or it was administrative, what's happening there, any contact information if something's going wrong, because occasionally things go wrong and people need someone to reach out to. It's all there on our website, including how to work for the town of Huntersville.
Yeah, and I would say, Mary, if I leave you with the audience today, hopefully there's 4 million viewers right now going on, maybe more like 4 probably, but either way, I would say definitely visit our website. If you want to know about development, any type of development projects related to planning, road project updates, all of those on the website. You can go to the planning website or just go through our town website, and you can find out whatever you want to know about every planning project, development project going on, every road project's going on in town. And I think that's probably, if I was to leave you with one thing, is definitely go there. You'll know everything that's going on in town of Huntersville.
Yep, you sure can. And if you have issues with DOT managed roads, which, majority of the roads are DOT managed roads, you can Google report a problem to NCDOT, and you can turn in those issues, like when their lights are out of sync or there's a lot of debris on the side of the road or a pothole. There's a place for that on their website. You can always tell the board and we'll pass it on. And sometimes it helps to do it both ways and have us pass it on and also have you turn that information on their webpage, because that is the way to get things done, is to just go straight to the source for DOT. It's one of those things that is frustrating, but it is what it is. All right, Anthony, what are you looking forward to in our next fiscal year? What are we going to get up to?
Well, I'm looking forward to, some of these projects we talked about that, sort of downtown development. So for me, the downtown development, we've got a lot of things going on now. Obviously, you will see, if folks probably have read some of this in the paper or maybe on WSIC, a couple new venues that will be opening in downtown Huntersville. Obviously, folks have heard about Chaplin's. Their primary locations here in Cornelius, but there's also the new location going in, I'm going to call it the White House, just west of Huntersville Elementary School, there on Gilly Road. I think will be a wonderful addition. And I'm just talking about commercial things right now, that downtown. Also, hopefully I'll say it right. Some folks say Coquette, but a French bakery that's going in. There's one here in Cornelius that's across from the new hospital there on, 20, no, I want to say 21, is that right? Across from the hospital, I can't get my direction wrong here, but right across from Atrium, over by 131 Main, there's a nice French bakery there, and that will be locating right across from 760 and Holbrook Apartments, and then there's a salon there now, and then also as far as a restaurant, eatery, or maybe some drinks, Corkscrew will be opening. Both Corkscrew and Coquette, whatever you call it. I'll get it worked out here soon. I like to visit there, so maybe I'll get my French lesson. But both of those are same general contractors working on those. Actually, if you probably rode by the other day, you'll see folks in there working. So can't wait for those to open. There's some other things that we'll be talking about. A potential restaurant in the old town hall. The board will be talking about that. We have not made decisions on that, but there are some more information that will be coming for the board for them to make decisions on that. So a lot of economic development downtown, which is really exciting for me. I can't wait. You're talking about the Cashins property, talking about I'm going to call it the grass strip in front of DPK Town Center. So those, I think, will bring more excitement to downtown. and hopefully we'll get some good projects started on that. So that's probably, you just asked me to pick one thing that's super exciting. I think those type projects will be super exciting, but there's many other things we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, as an employee at Huntersville Elementary School, right across the street from where Coquette is going to be going, and I'm pretty excited to have a place to pop out to or pop into, I guess, before and after school to grab a snack or a coffee. That's, I think, the teachers at Huntersville Elementary will be frequent faces at both of those places. And a lot of folks have started going to that salon too, so it's super exciting. And they have one more space there, right, that they're looking to fill. That they haven't told us what it is yet, but the people that are working on that are very excited about it and think we'll be very happy. So we're anxiously awaiting that announcement to come in the near future too.
I'm hoping first quarter of 2026 that we'll have an announcement. I say we will. They'll have an announcement there that will be exciting to continue to, get downtown up and running and build some more excitement downtown.
Yep. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the board decides to do with the old current town hall. It's not the current town hall anymore. We have a new current town hall. We're going to have to change the way we talk about our town halls because we just don't. They haven't decided yet, and so it's up for discussion. And so if you want to know about that, come to our board meetings, which are the first and third Tuesday of every month at the new town hall building. There's lots of room to sit, big spaces, and come see the new town hall. We talk about all the things that you're worried about there, and you can always speak in the public comments. If you have something that's not on our agenda you want to talk about, we love to hear from our residents. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always email us at boardmembers@huntersville.org. And that also goes to our town manager, too, in case it's something that our staff needs to address. It can get addressed right away as well. So keep in touch with us. Those are all the ways that you can stay in touch with us. We have really been doing a lot in the past 2 years, Anthony. I think I said let's do as much as we humanly possible can get done in 2 years because elections happen every 2 years. And so I knew the timer was on. And so now the timer is reset, and I kind of feel like we can let off the gas a little bit, but maybe not. What do you think?
No, absolutely not. No, I think, it's been exciting. Like I say, obviously I worked a lot on downtown development, but, the other thing that you guys have done, Mayor and Board, is attainable housing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hard thing to accomplish. Looking at partnerships on how you can get attainable housing, and to me, and I think you'd agree, Mayor, that when you do it within the existing development, so it doesn't stand out. It should look like everything else. It's just attainable housing. So I think y'all have done a great job to figure out how to partner with existing developments to come forward to achieve that. Whether it's 1 unit or 10 units at a time, that's you're chipping away at it. And so I think attainable housing will be something that this board will continue to push, along with many other things, road projects and downtown development, taking care of staff, et cetera. So I look forward to continue to pound ahead.
Yep. We're Anthony and I are two of minds. We have the same kind of mindset as we like to get stuff done. We're very task oriented, so we look forward to more things. So if you have something you want us to work on, send us a message and let's have a conversation about what might come up in the future. And in the meantime, you can always join us. You can watch us on YouTube. Our town meetings are on there. You can come to our new town hall. And also, please come for our ribbon cutting on this Friday at 11 a.m. at our new town hall. We'd love to see you there. That is it for today's Thrive Here Live for the Town of Huntersville. Stay in touch with us and have a great day. And come see us at our MLK event, too. Thank you.